I want us to think of the faces of all of those children who will have to come home from school not knowing if their parent has been arrested, detained, or deported because of this cruel, inhumane, and unconstitutional law.
This is an issue not only for the citizens of Arizona, but sovereignty for the United States of America, and we need this bill and we must act on it. With that, I vote yes.
Good evening and welcome to 12 News at 6. Emotions running high today at the Arizona State Capitol. In just 5 months, Arizona voters will now get to decide on a controversial new border proposal.
If it's approved, the Secure the Border Act would allow law enforcement officers to arrest people crossing the border illegally. 12 News journalist William Pitts is at the state capitol tonight with details.
This vote sends the Secure the Border Act to the November ballot, where voters will basically decide whether they want local law enforcement to enforce immigration laws. Protest outside the State House of Representatives, vowing to campaign against HCR 2060, the Secure the Border Act, outside because in the People's House,
Tuesday, June 4th,
the people weren't allowed. The gallery was closed to the public by order of the House Speaker.
They were advertising what they were going to do on social media, and they were recruiting on social media. And further, there were allegations that were members from this very chamber colluding with them to cause chaos.
That was the start of a long and contentious vote on a controversial bill. HCR 2060 would make it a state crime to cross the border anywhere other than a port of entry, and it would let any police officer arrest those suspected of illegal crossing. It also gives police blanket immunity when enforcing it. Another provision enhances penalties for anyone who sells fentanyl that kills someone.
I'll give you a chance to clarify your comments.
On the House floor, questions about legality, constitutionality, and racial profiling met with concerns about border security and safety.
This is a question for the voters. Why are we sending this to the voters? Well, we know that the dangers at the border are real.
I don't need to go and post a picture about how I'm going to fix the border when I'm a state legislator, not a member of Congress. I think my colleagues are forgetting the role that we play here as legislators, and I'm truly frustrated with my colleagues who have law degrees.
We talk about protecting people. We're racists. Are you kidding me here, folks? This is about life and humanity.
Two things can be true at once. We can acknowledge the need for comprehensive immigration reform and increased border security while recognizing that this bill is not the way.
House Speaker Ben Toma says the bill would require police to have probable cause, not just a suspicion.
This is, again, would require a law enforcement officer to physically see the person coming over the border at a place not as a legal point of entry, or they would have some sort of recording or some other way to prove that would be the case. Just seeing someone of a different color driving through Phoenix or that doesn't speak English, that would make no sense whatsoever.
But outside the House chamber, protesters vowed to defeat it when it comes on the November ballot.
It's more like I'm gonna be afraid for my mom. Actually, she's Mexican. So actually I'm gonna be more afraid of taking her out.
We're gonna be fighting like hell to make sure that the regular Arizona voters know what's going on and why this is terrible for the state.
What's also missing is a concrete funding source for all these new responsibilities. That's, of course, if it passes in November. In Phoenix, William Pitts, 12 News.